Hey everybody, it's me once again, and I was wondering, are you waiting for something? Are you waiting for something to change? Are you waiting for something to happen? Are you waiting for some magical savior to come and change the world? Are you waiting for aliens to land? Are you waiting for nuclear war? Are you waiting for a virus to wipe out the population? Or martial law? Or are you waiting for everyone to ascend into the fifth dimension? Are you waiting for some sort of a cosmic awareness to take over society? And I ask that only because it seems like everyone's waiting for something. And I've spent my whole life waiting for something to happen in my lifetime. Because I've always felt, since I was young, that in my lifetime something big was going to happen. And it was going to be very important, and it was going to change the world, and that I was going to have to man up and do something. And I never knew what that was. It was like a calling, a feeling. But over the years, I realized that many other folks have that same feeling. And even back then, I knew because I asked some older, people what if they had any similar. I told them about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, everyone, a lot of people feel that way. There's something in the air, something big, something's got to give." And so we waited, and we waited, and we wait, still to this day. And it seems like with all this waiting, we've made a slight effort to be better people. And I know that a lot of folks would disagree with me. In fact, I've seen some pretty brutal comments lately that, not to me, but on other people's videos, saying how the world's doomed and people are horrible and people are going to all die, and that's just our, that all people are negative and all people are hateful. So there is a little bit of that, but I think for the most part, I've seen people really become more tolerant of one another. And I feel like while all this waiting is happening for something big to happen, something big is happening. And I feel like society is rushing change. And I only say that from my perspective. I'm 37 years old. All I know is what I've seen in my lifetime and what my elders have told me about their lifetimes. And beyond that, it's just what I've read, like everyone else. And for all we know, history beyond 100 years ago could be non-existent. I mean, the fact is, we can't prove anything anymore. People want empirical evidence for everything. And since empirical evidence is dependent upon the observer, we need to move past what is true and what isn't, I guess. And there's a lot of talk about, people are seeing things, people are delusional. No, they're not. So, some people are more sensitive. But among all this, everyone seems to be waiting for something to happen to change the way things are. And for the last probably 15 years of my life, I was one of them. I was waiting for a major disaster to come and basically wipe the slate clean. But for some reason in my mind, I figured I would be one of the survivors. But I realized that that was my own, and I'm speaking for myself here, because I know not everybody is this way, but I know for myself it was because I didn't like the way society was. I don't like the way the money system is run. I don't like the banking system. I don't like capitalism. I don't like borders. I don't like laws that are made to uphold corporate greed. I don't like a lot of things about society. And so I wanted it all to get wiped out to start over. But then I'd think about the human misery, and I was like, well, maybe we could do it without suffering. No, it doesn't work. We just have to figure out how to make this work. I'm going to go as far as to say that eventually something here, probably in the next 100 years, a major event is going to devastate this planet beyond anything we've ever seen. I wouldn't say the whole planet. What I mean is I think that something's going to happen in a nation, whether it be a nuclear explosion or a massive, weather-related event, whatever it might be. solar eclipse or a solar flare, who knows? Whatever it might be, something's going to happen somewhere that's going to stir up the pot, and it's going to cause havoc among the monetary system and everything else, and trade. And but it's not something that we should be waiting for. It's not something that we should just kind of throw our hands up and say, oh well, the world's going to shit. And that's really the root of where I'm coming from here. You can't sit there and say, it's called defeatism. I mean, it's defeatist attitude when you say, well, the world's already fucked, I'm going to get mine. I honestly think that that's the worst attitude a person can have in this world. The most detrimental attitude that a person can have in society is to say, well, this society's already fucked up, so I'm just going to take my share. And I try really hard to not be that way. When I was younger, I felt entitled. I thought, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to have all this and that. And I'm very fortunate that through observation of those around me, I was wise enough, I guess, to look past money and see that I'm happiest with family. I'm happiest at home. I don't want to get away. The folks that are waiting for the world to collapse, or the folks that feel like they always have to get away, that everybody has their own personal reasons why they feel that way. For me, getting away, because I always wanted to, I still want to be a farmer, but I guess what it is I can't escape from myself, nor can I escape from society, because I am part of society, and society is part of me. The philosophy would be that the Buddhist monks who run off to the caves and spend their life in isolation are completely negating life. They are running away from their responsibility as a human, because that's not a productive way to help society. And by escaping, it's a lot easier for one not to have to deal with it, but society still moves on and goes on. And if we are indeed creatures that are all intertwined, whether we be creatures of God or creatures of a collective consciousness, whatever it may be, we have the responsibility to do the best ourselves to help others, because we're kind of, holding each other up here. So I think that in regards to what I said about us feeling like we're not moving fast enough, look how far we've come, people. I mean, look how far we've come. Look at what we've done. And I'm not talking about what we've created. I'm not talking about what science has brought us or contraptions. I'm talking about the knowledge that's here now. The knowledge doesn't go away. The technology may cease to be profitable or affordable enough to create, but the technology is still there to utilize for things that could benefit us. And when people cease to use capital gain as a reason or a motivation to do things, I think that the world's going to change a lot. I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't even have recycling. Now we recycle everything. We didn't have folks that were earth conscious. There were, but I mean, it wasn't like it is now. It's like it's become trendy to be eco-friendly, and that's fine if that's what it takes. Let's just make it trendy to be friendly. When is that going to be the trend? To be a friend. Start a trend. Be a friend. Cheesiest shit, man. That'd be a good bumper sticker, though. I gotta remember that one. I like it. Put it in my little book. Anyway, I'm really digging on the idea that we're living in like the old saying, may you live in interesting times. Who was it that said that? I was thinking it was Washington or Franklin, one of the presidents. Whatever. We do live in interesting times, and when we our perception of how things aren't, like people like wake up, trying to wake people up. Wake up. You got to see what's going on. It's like, calm down. It's like trying to wake up a room full of kids. A few are going to wake up faster than others, but eventually everyone's going to get up. It's just about having patience and waiting. It might take a generation, and most people don't want to wait a generation. I am not waiting 20 years. I'm not waiting 50 years. But you ain't got much choice, and that's what's going to happen. Now, if we still haven't moved beyond this in another 20 years, then it's time to call in, sound the alarm. But I think for now, honestly, I know a lot of folks will disagree with me, but I think that as a society, we're doing pretty damn well. And some of those people on the top are making it horrible for everyone, because all we see is wars, the media, this whole illusion, this machine, the war machine, the media machine. You have to remember that the war machine exists. The media doesn't. Media is just, it's nothing. You can ignore it. You can get your information elsewhere. I know a lot of folks think that all media is controlled, but there still is a sliver of media that gets the truth out there. Maybe not the deepest truths, but it's because usually the people don't want to touch it. And many newscasters have been fired for talking about things that they shouldn't, and we know that. So we can choose to just stay away from mainstream media. The war machine is horrible. It's doing some horrible things, but ultimately it's not the army that's the biggest problem. The military was never designed to be what it is today if it weren't for the fact that we're backing up corporate interests. Then we would have a completely different world. So ultimately we need to work on bringing down greed, bringing down large corporate conglomerates, and that would be our biggest focus, our biggest issue. And to put caps on trade, to put caps on profits, to put caps on income. And you know what? Then everyone says, hey, you're a socialist. That's when it becomes socialism. And the socialism is a dirty word, because then you become a communist, and all of a sudden, oh, you're trying to spread the wealth around. And you know where that goes. So at the beginning it sounds all fine and dandy. Oh, we put limits on this and that, and nobody should be, making $1,000 an hour or $10,000 an hour. And then folks say, no, wait a minute, now you're getting in the way of my profits. And that's not compatible with the way people live. And I say, shame on you. I mean, how much is enough? How much is too much? I know from personal experience, the more money I have, the more afraid I am of losing it. And the less I have, the more I don't give a shit, because how much worse can it get? So I can't imagine being a multi-billionaire trying to hang on to every thread of that. Like, it's a desperation. These people are not sharing. These people are greedy whores. And it's fucked up. It really pisses me off to no end. But what do? Well, we work on social attitudes. It doesn't have to be socialism. Socialism has many forms. Communism has many forms. The idea of communism and socialism is providing for everyone equally for equal work. How come because one person can afford college because his parents were rich, he should be entitled to have more money and a better, higher paying job? Oh, well, because he has a better education. Why does he have a better education? Because his parents had money. Why do his parents have money? Because their parents had money. Or they built up a business. How did that business make money? It took away from other people. Or it cut into someone else's profits. Everyone loses somehow. Every time someone makes more than their share, more people lose out because of it. And I don't know how people can't see that. It's all about equality and balance, It doesn't mean we can't pass around the dish for one guy now and again. Like one person can't go out and do something nice for themselves, buy something nice for themselves, do something for their family. And people should be entitled to spend $5,000 on vacation if they want to, but not $500,000 on a lunch, And so, I'm going to say that I'm completely opposed to capitalism in every way, and I don't really care if folks don't agree with me, because I can understand that I'm not a socialist either. I'm not a capitalist, I'm not a socialist, I'm not a communist, I'm not a anythingist. I'm just a person who wants to see a balance. There has to be some kind of common ground, and when we find that common ground, people won't be yearning for this disaster or the apocalypse or Jesus come down and save everyone. People will want to stay here. I hear people talk horrible about this planet that we call home. They say the most horrific things. We don't belong here. This place is destroyed. Our air is destroyed, and our soil's destroyed. Everything's bad. Everything's polluted. No, it's not. We live on a fucking planet that goes through cycles, and will shake us off like a flea. If you think we can destroy the ecosystem of the planet, we're dreadfully wrong. We can fuck it up for quite a while, but we can't sit back and say, oh well, it's fucked. Might as well just give up. We have to work to mend it. We have to put in our efforts to try to stop future pollution, to try to stop future disasters. Use our heads and come together and fucking do something. I just don't know what, but I'm trying. Every day, all we can do is be the best person we can be, and know that in the long run, by being the best person we can be, we're helping to better the world. And if one person sees that and passes it on, it's just as contagious as negativity. Positivity, man. It's gotta be the way. It's the only way. Because there's too much shit to worry about. So, let's not look forward to the apocalypse or the disaster. Let's just enjoy the life that we have and realize that we're nothing special. We just happen to have more technology and more awareness. In some regards, anyway. I'll leave it at that. So, peace and love to everybody, and I really hope that we do find a way to get around this stupid childish notion that everything's gotta be wiped out in order to start clean, because that doesn't have to happen. We could change this quickly. We could turn everything around in no time. Man, I sincerely hope we do. Namaste.